guys, I'm sure most of you remember Juanita here. Some of you guys I know really remember her, but we're back with her. We're going to see what's going on with her car. Just a real quick update. You guys remember her from a video. It was about 3, maybe 4 years ago. She had the car kind of cutting out on her while she would drive. We were trying to figure out, thinking maybe it was fuel pump, maybe camshaft, crankshaft position sensor. We never did get it to happen. Just an update on that. It turned out it was a failing crankshaft position sensor. I did fix that. That was years ago, but now we're back with something totally different. Can you tell us what's going on?
Yeah, so actually the car's been doing great ever since, except for recently, probably about a month ago. I don't know, I parked it and then I, was coming or was leaving for work the next morning, and you start it and it feels like it just wants to die. So it has that toot sound. Okay,
so steady, even pace while it's running?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sure you guys are thinking the same way I am. Sounds like a misfire, so we'll take a look. Now, the car's been sitting for a really long time, and we believe battery is dead, right?
Correct.
So, okay, so that's what we've got. We won't have a check engine light to go on, obviously, if the battery's been dead for a month, so this could be a good one. All right, we'll see what we get. All right, guys, also we got another special treat. The special treat is we've got Vicki behind the camera today.
Wow, very lucky.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this goes, because she's kind of learning, but she wants to start doing the camera work for me, save me some time. Okay, Vicki, if you want to take a look over here. If we look here, we've got 2.4 volts. This battery is completely dead. I'll show you a little gizmo I have for this. This is a NOCO Boost. This is basically a portable jump pack, and it's very, very small and convenient. All right, now, on this thing here, when the battery is really low, it won't charge because it has a polarity sensitivity to it. Right now with the battery that low, we're below that polarity sensing. So we'll have to override that. I want to make absolutely sure when you do this, you are on positive and negative. Sounds like I heard a little activity there.
I call her my little midget.
Oh, that's right. That's your little midget. I forgot about that. She has a, I forgot what it is. I think it's a ducting door under the dashboard, and it acts up whenever you power on the vehicle. And I forgot the little midget. That's right. Okay, let's see if this car will start. Not yet. All right, we need to let this charge up just a little bit, and we'll be right back when we get it started. We got the car started here. We're going to keep it running because I kind of only usually get one shot with that NOCO Boost. Let's see, right now we've got, you can see the engine is running really bad. You can see this vibration here. So we've got a definite miss. There's also smoke coming up out of the engine. This engine is not running very well at all right now. So what we're going to do is go ahead and bring up the scan tool here. I can't do the scan tool on the engine. It's vibrating so bad I can't even do it. Let's try over here. Hey, Juanita, can you give me a flashlight or your phone flashlight? Can you see this smoke coming up over here, right in the corner? There's a coolant leak on this car, pretty bad. So it looks like steam coming up there. Kind of makes you think in terms of a blown head gasket or something. One of the challenges we have is I want to be able to do my cranking compression test. There's absolutely no way I can do a compression test right now because we won't be able to crank the engine long enough. Without having this battery fully charged, we may be stuck here on what we can do, but right now I'd like to identify the misfire. What is this? It's a Dodge Avenger, right? What year?
13.
13, all right. Right now we just need generic powertrain data. Going to let that run. I would expect with this car, the way it's running, we should have a check engine light that's flashing. So I'm going to go look at that real quick. Unless you want to, Juanita, would you mind? Cylinder misfire 2, it shows.
So it is on, but it's not flashing.
All right. Juanita says lights on but not flashing. We can see here we've got system voltage low, the battery. We've got cylinder number 2 misfire detected. So this is a misfire at number 2. Go ahead and take a look at number 2 here real quick. But with everything I'm seeing here and the way it's misfiring and the way it's running, I'm kind of suspecting we may possibly have some type of compression issue. Now, I don't know whether number 2 is this one or this one. In order to find out which one's number 2, I'm going to do a cylinder drop test. We're going to disconnect the ignition coil. Look at that. Disconnect the ignition coil. There's a little difference. So I don't think this is an ignition misfire. Notice, plug it in. Absolutely doesn't seem to be any change. I can tell you there's a very, very little bit of change, which makes me think that there is some contribution from the coil. Unplug it. Doesn't seem any different. The other possibility is it's numbered 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So we're going to do this one. This one, I'll bet, makes a big difference. Okay, doing this cylinder totally changes the engine behavior. So we know this is cylinder number 2 here. It's numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do that again. See how the engine just about dies. Do it on this one. No change. So confirm this is cylinder number 2. Once again, you guys won't be able to hear it, but I can. Can you guys hear there's a little bit of a difference when I unplug this? Listen very carefully. Right there. No. So they don't notice it, and that's okay. Right there. Hear the idle change a little bit? Let's see, we got Torx bits on these cylinders, so I can't remove this to check that it's sparking. We have to do a compression test on this engine right now. Our variables are there's no fuel, no spark. Let's try doing that. Let's try disconnecting the fuel injector real quick. Okay, again, disconnecting the fuel injector. You hear that? Yeah. Okay, so Juanita agrees. She heard a change when I did the fuel injector. I heard that same change when I did the coil. Let's do that again. Yeah. Plug it in. Hear a little bit of a change. So what this is telling me, there's a little bit of contribution from fuel. There's a little bit of contribution from spark. Right now, I am absolutely in the direction of there being a compression problem on this engine. We have to do a compression test in order to do that. I can't do a compression test because the battery is too weak. The problem is that I don't have my scope with me. I don't have a compression gauge with me. I don't have any way of, I don't even have an Allen block with me to remove the ignition coil to prove that we have spark. So I have nothing with me, but based on what I've seen, what I'm trying to show you guys is how you can suspect a compression issue when you've got no other evidence. But we've got some contribution from spark, some contribution from fuel is really making me suspect compression.
So should I get somebody out here to change the battery?
Yeah, so Juanita's asking, would it be a good idea? The battery is totally toasted on this car. And she's asking, would it be a good idea to have somebody come out here to change the battery so we can do this? And I'm going to say at this point, no. I'm more likely to just bring a battery from my house. The reason being because if this turns out to be a blown head gasket, you don't want to invest any money into buying anything for this car right now. So right now, you don't want to invest anything. And we'll get it to where we can crank this car one way or another. I've got some other ways. But right now, don't buy anything. Because if you do have a blown head gasket, which this is kind of looking like right now, then you'll be glad that you didn't waste money on a battery, right?
Okay.
Yep.
And how much does that usually go for?
The battery?
No, the head gasket.
Oh, how much would a head gasket? To be honest with you, it would be the end of the car, most likely.
Really?
Yeah, $2,000 minimum.
Wow.
Yeah. We'd have to look up the value of the car. This car's got kind of a lot of other issues as well. So if I determine that this is indeed a blown head gasket, then most likely I'm going to recommend, given what I know about this car, because I've seen it a couple times before, you may need to cut your losses. We'll have to see. Yeah, we may have to see. I know that's not great. Why don't I come back tomorrow and we'll figure this out 100% for sure and come up with a plan.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, guys, it's the next day, actually. So yesterday did not go so well. We had a lot of issues. The battery on this car will not charge, so I was hoping to just do the audible compression test. We turned the vehicle off to do the audible compression test. Car wouldn't even click. The battery just has no charge at all or anything. On top of that, we've got Torx screws for the ignition coils. I didn't have a Torx Allen block with me, so I wasn't able to do the thing where I could test for spark even. We just had nothing working for us. Today, I'm a lot more prepared. What we're going to do is we're going to try to start the car. If it doesn't work, we're going to diagnose this without even starting the car at all. So that's the plan for today. So what we're going to do is get that jump pack back on, see if we can start the car. I have my Torx set with me so we can check for spark. If there is no spark on cylinder 2, that changes everything. If we do have spark on cylinder 2, we're right on direction for a compression issue. So that's the plan today. Juanita, if you want to head over to the car and get your keys. All right, guys, we did try to start the car again. It just will not start. This battery will not in any way hold charge. So what we're going to do is we are going to do a leak down test. I brought stuff to do this. First thing we're going to do, we're going to remove this coil and the spark plug. All right, taking the spark plug out, we're going to look, see if there's any evidence of coolant on here. No evidence of coolant on it or anything, so a little bit indecisive on that. So right now, the only thing I have is very subjective evidence that we have spark. If we don't have spark, obviously that would be really good news, and hopefully we'll find that I was wrong on that. What I'm going to do now is show you the setup we're going to use for a leak down test. So what I've got is this portable air compressor and my leak down kit that you guys have certainly seen before. The portable air compressor I got just for this purpose, also so I can do smoke machine tests in the field. As you know now, with my new smoke machine from Autoline Pro, I no longer have to do that, but this is still pretty handy for in the field with what we're going to do. And now we can do our test on this engine and find out exactly what's wrong without even having to start the car. So let's get this started up here. All right, we're going to feed in a hose here, and here's what we're going to do. Juanita, if you wouldn't mind stepping over here, I'll take your help for a second. I just want you to put your thumb over that hose, and you're going to feel air push against it at some point here. You don't have to fight it. You'll just kind of lightly have it on there. Okay. And then you look like a hand model with the nails. This is something that none of my viewers have ever seen. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to turn the engine over. And guys, when we get to the compression stroke, she's going to feel some air. There's definitely do you feel it? Okay. Yeah, you can hear it. Okay. So you can let go. And then we're going to connect up our air to it. I'm expecting there's going to be no compression here and the engine won't even rotate. In order to check engine rotation, Vicki, if you want to look and focus the camera on this wheel here, and if the engine rotates, then I'm going to say we probably have compression. Oh, it does. Well, I might have been wrong then. Sorry guys, we're going to go ahead and work through the noise here. I'm going to turn the engine over again, and we're going to look at our leak down percentage. Oh, it's good. Wow. Okay. Well, this is an ignition problem. All right, guys, and that right there, this is a prime lesson on why you don't go on intuition or you don't go on kind of past history or things like that. You have to go on solid evidence. All my evidence kind of added up. We had a coolant leak, which I'm thinking we've got high pressure in the cooling system. It's finding the weakest spot, so it's causing the coolant leak. You've got a single cylinder misfire as well that seems to respond with removing the fuel injection connector, that seems to respond with removing the coil connector. But everything was kind of adding up there, but everything was circumstantial. And you have to get real data, and that's what we're doing here. So now we do have to get this car started. So now the strategy totally changes. This is not a compression problem. That is very good news for Juanita. And yeah, for sure, right? So what we're going to do is now we're just going to pull the old switcheroo test. So I need my star socket here. What we're going to do is we're just going to move the ignition coil over to number 2, repeat the drop test, and this could just be an ignition coil. Again, I couldn't do this yesterday. I didn't have a star socket. I could not remove the ignition coil. And now we can do that. All right, we could also relocate the spark plug. I don't believe there's anything that would indicate now. If we're going to have anything, this is going to be a coil problem for sure. So sorry, Juanita, didn't mean to panic you there, but so far we're looking pretty good here. All right, so we've moved our coil from 3 to 2. Put this coil 2 to 3. Get that.
Fixed or no?
Yeah, this would be a super easy fix and fairly inexpensive. If we don't get this fixed here, this car is coming over to my house because I don't believe I'm going to be doing a major repair anymore. So, all right. So now we've got our coils swapped. All right, guys, what we've got here is we've got coil number 3 in this location, coil number 2 in this location. All I did was swap coils. You remember yesterday when we pulled this out, there was no change. That is no longer the case. Oh, there's that horn. Pull this coil out now. This is a bad ignition coil. There is no spark on this ignition coil. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take it out here. You don't hear any clicking or ticking. You're going to take this out, set it up against the ground, and connect it up. Don't have a good ground here. Let me grab my test light. Okay, got a test light connected to ground, checking that my test light has ground. God dang it. So this car has an electric problem where the alarm goes off at random. Another thing I'll have to fix, but now it's worth fixing. We're going to plug this coil in, put a test light up to it. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is a dead coil. I'm even going to put my finger there. Nothing. This coil is dead. That's all it is. So I was wrong, and I am glad that I was wrong. And I'm going to post this anyway just to show you that sometimes taking a guess, I scared the customer a little bit. Obviously, normally I wouldn't have a customer around when I do this. Everything was pointing to me that this was a bad cylinder head, and it's just a bad ignition coil. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get an ignition coil for this thing, make the car drivable, get a battery for it, and then she'll be able to bring it up to me, and I'll be able to fix the coolant leak, which is just a water pipe leaking at the back of the engine. It's not that big of a deal. But she refers to this car as Big Red. Big Red is still alive. All right, Juanita, well, as you see, there's good news here, so this is going to be really minor. My apologies for scaring you earlier, but, and definitely that was not the right thing to do, to make a call like that. Well, I didn't make a call. To even give indication, definitely not the right thing to do. But I know Juanita, I know you guys, and it sure looked like it to me that was going to be the issue. But, it's usually best to just hold off until you definitely have your diagnosis. But she wouldn't have slept any better anyway overnight knowing. I just didn't have a way of doing that simple test. I had no way of doing it. So it's pretty easy. But I got a way to make it up for you. So let's see what else Juanita needs done here. All right, wait a minute. Something's wrong here.
This is our next project.
Yeah, so I noticed when Juanita came out of her garage door, she actually literally moved the whole garage door off of the hinges and everything. So I don't know what happened here, but we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
So Juanita, if you want to help by moving the door into the position here, I brought some stuff to fix that. So we need to lift the door up just a bit. Should hold its own now.
Oh, yeah.
All right. There it is.
Sweet.
All righty. There we go.
So much.
Yeah.
Okay, when we go to the store, we have to find this battery because this thing's not working.
Okay. Door's closed. All right, guys, just bad ignition coil, a little bit of a long way to go there, but just didn't have any other way of doing the diagnosis. So the plan here, we know 100% this is what the issue is with the Misfire. We're going to pick up an ignition coil. The thing is, again, the car is not going to start. I'm not going to really deal with that, so we're not going to show the final fix there. The car is coming back to me anyway for this water leak, and it's got some electrical problems that we'll do a video on the electrical problems, and you guys will see then that the Misfire is gone. So we're going to close this one out. Juanita, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll see you soon, guys.